An official with the Ariel settlement, one of the largest in the territory, says he strongly agrees with the Trump peace plan, says this is a historical opportunity to correct an old mistake.
I don't refer to this as annexation. It is applying Israeli law to the existing Jewish communities. Annexation implies that you are taking something that isn't yours. In this historic event, we are simply correcting a mistake made many years ago and working to improve a difficult, unlivable situation. We need to seize this window of opportunity and to accept wholeheartedly what the United States administration has brought to the table. We have the best friend Israel ever had in the White House, President Trump. I'm confident that the Arabs will be consistent in their behavior of the past 70 years, which is to refuse any opportunity they are offered to build a Palestinian state.
Let's zoom into this story even more. With me now is Uri Pilichowski. He's an author and Torah teacher joining us from Mitzpe Jericho, which is along the West Bank Jordan Valley line in a way. And also with us in studio is Daniela Weiss, who is the head of the Nahala settlement movement. Thank you so much both for being with us as we discuss this topic. Daniela, I'd like to start with you with a question, if I could. This is, it appears for the first time ever, the U.S. is offering U.S.-sponsored, U.S.-approved Israeli sovereignty over all of the settlements. Why is that not a reason to be happy, to celebrate what the U.S. is willing to accept?
I think that the deal of the century, Trump's plan, is a plan which actually directs at the goal of establishing a Palestinian state. This is the way I see it. Now, as this is an awful idea for the Jewish state of Israel and for the settlers and for the majority of Jews in Israel and in the world, it is coated by what is called sovereignty or annexation or Israeli law. On what? On us. On the Jewish settlements. There are more than 200 settlements. And then we get, for these settlements, 3% of Judea and Samaria.
You mentioned that the Trump plan permits, and the goal is a Palestinian state,
No
but,
doubt.
but they must accept certain conditions that it appears they will never accept. That
So let's be meduyak.
To the point here.
To the point
Precise.
here. Precise. David Friedman, the ambassador of the U.S. to Israel, explained that there is a agreement between the Israeli government and Trump's administration that the United States will give its agreement or will enable Israel to vote for sovereignty on condition that the Israeli government accepts the idea of a state for the Palestinians. Now, why is it so dangerous? Because everything that is accepted in principle becomes the basis for the next step. Even in Trump's plan, Trump himself or Kushner, they say, we are basing this vision on Oslo Accords. They failed their accords, but we are smarter. We will succeed.
I want to have Uri jump into this conversation here. He's been listening along. What's your response to what you're hearing? That really the Trump peace plan is kind of a poisoned prize here. It's in the short term, there's a promise of extension of sovereignty, but as you're hearing the arguments against it, that there is a plan and a push for independent Palestinian statehood.
I respectfully, because I admire Daniela so much, think that we're presented with an opportunity now that we can't give up. And I don't think that the plan is designed to create a Palestinian state. I think it's designed to create a solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And it's an opportunity that we as the settler movement have been waiting for 53 years to finally extend sovereignty to Yehuda v'Shomron, to Judea and Samaria. And how can we give up this opportunity that's being presented to us as a gift?
There will also be, though, as you know, at least according to the first conceptual map, over a dozen settlements that would be complete enclaves surrounded in land that could be used for a future Palestinian state. They have strong concerns about that, security concerns. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that, yes, obviously there are concerns, but I think there are very simple solutions. First of all, those settlements will only become enclaves and in the middle of a Palestinian state if the Palestinians accept the 8 conditions, which they said they're not going to, and those are all over their red lines.
Accepted Oslo.
So that, one second. So, and there are easy solutions to that problem. There are easy solutions to that problem by building other roads and building infrastructure, which the plan allows for.
Yeah,
so
but your point is that they accepted Oslo. For now, they say no. They could always say yes because.
Yeah, there is no problem for the Arabs.
They can't always say. They only have 4 years, and Oslo did not call for these conditions.
They have at least 4 years, and once they show a little of readiness to go towards Trump's plan, then we will hold. In the meantime, we are under freeze. The reason.
But we're not. No, that's not how the plan works. It is 4 years they have to start negotiations, but those towns, the 15 enclave towns, will always remain safe. And if there's ever a Palestinian state and the Palestinians change their finger, if they ever decide to change their nature and decide to actually create a state, then we have time to build billions of dollars worth of infrastructure to protect those towns. We're building a boogeyman against ourselves. We're only scared of ourselves.
Rabbi, we just read Parashat Shlach. You know that Moses said to the Meraglim, to the spies, if the inhabitants of Eretz Israel, if they live in fortresses, they are cowards. If they live in the open, they are courageous. So you are telling my grandchildren to live in Eretz Israel in a fortress with infrastructure around? God forbid.
God forbid.
But this
Daniela,
is my children from Elon More cannot come to me. It takes them 20 minutes now, and then it will take them 3 hours. And on what do you base that the Israelis don't, that the Palestinians do not accept plans? They accept, they sign, and like Muhammad, they are allowed because we're infidels, so they can.
I think Daniela, if I've learned anything from you, and I'm a student of yours, it's to be loyal to the land, but
nice
also loyal to the people. And I think that what you're expressing is fear based on fear on fear. And I think that as courageous Zionists, we have to take opportunities as they're presented and jump on them.
Okay,
I don't think we should.
On that point, listen in, Uri, but Daniela, I want to ask about that point directly. That this may be just the argument that it's a very tough compromise. In fact, even when Israel was founded 72 years ago, there was compromise that had to be made then on the UN partition plan. This is also a very tough compromise, but it allows the extension of sovereignty into settlements. It's a first step that the U.S. will back and support, and you can go from there.
Jeff, I hoped you wouldn't ask this question because I've been asked so often, so I wanted something different. But I'm...
we're zooming in on this topic. Go ahead, yeah.
But I'm well tuned to...
I know he's listening in too, of course, for the dialogue.
No, the point is this. To take this example of 47, the partition plan, and to compare to 2020 to 2020.
Not on the lines, but just on the idea of compromise. Tough
what do you mean,
compromise within the land of Israel.
I compromise when I see that I'm going to be hanged. So maybe I'll compromise something, maybe on the length of the rope. But we are now a very strong nation in a very strong country with a strategic depth since the 6-Day War. We are strong in defense, in the army, in agriculture, in industry, in high tech. We are a happy nation. And this is why I'm glad that, Rabbi, you're listening to this. You said you're a student of mine, so I continue my lessons. We know that this is the point when the world sees this strength, which is irreversible, and now they are making an extra effort to put the rope here closer.
Okay, go ahead. Or can you respond to that argument here?
Yes, I think that specifically because we're so strong and specifically because we're so capable now, we have the opportunity to take chances like this and go ahead and build our country and extend the sovereignty that we've been looking for and desiring for 53 years now. We've been waiting for this moment. To pass up this tremendous opportunity is putting ideology over pragmatism, and it's a danger to us. We'll never have this opportunity again, and we'll be crying tears for generations.
No, we'll be crying over a Palestinian state. What did Prime Minister Netanyahu do to cope with the Iranian threat? Courageously, in the Obama term, he stood in the Congress and he did dare say this: the pact, the agreement with Iran is impossible. Let's erase it. To stand in another country, the strongest in the world, Israel, and we had the courage to do it. So now, to continue to build the settlements, where's the problem? Why can't we continue?
Or should
no one's saying we're the problem. It's exactly the opposite. We're finally being accepted for the rights that we always knew we had.
But
so just like when the Trump administration moved the embassy, we celebrated, right? So now we're having further recognition. We should celebrate this moment.
Why is recognition prior to continuing to build more and more communities? I don't know where the camera can see this.
Yeah,
yes,
go ahead.
I do it well.
Yeah, go ahead, continue.
So why take all this out of the country instead of enabling more and more communities? Instead of being 500,000 Jews, let's be 1 million, 2 million, and the uplands.
No one's saying we shouldn't. No one is saying.
So why do we
shouldn't.
wait for recognition in our own homeland?
Because the recognition is going to help us get to that goal. It's an aid to us. It's not hampering us. It's helping us.
Do you think,
and we should grab that opportunity.
Do you think that this could damage U.S.-Israeli relations if the opposition continues?
No. Well, it depends how the opposition is done. I think the Americans understand that we're a democracy and we're flourishing, and people like Daniela have its people and its country at our best intentions and our best, and that's what she wants. It's from her heart.
All right.
As long as we're not insulting to the American administration, they understand the healthy debate.
Okay.
That's the basis of all democracy.
And Danielle mentioned from the heart and from the mind here off camera. Thank you so much, Daniela Weiss and Uri Pilichowski. Excellent debate. I really appreciate both of your perspectives as we zoomed on to this issue. Again, July 1st, just around the corner. Thank you both so much. Great to have you guys. I really appreciate it.